Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Political uncertainty grips Japan as Prime Minister Ishiba steps down. Months after ruling LDP coalition lost upper house majority in July polls. Thailand's newly elected Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul takes office after receiving royal endorsement. Ukraine conflict intensifies after Moscow's largest overnight air attack hits Kyiv's government building. Attack leaves 3 dead and several injured. Sabalenka trumps Amanda Anisimova to defend US Open crown. All eyes now on the big Alcaraz versus Sinner men's final at the Flushing Meadows. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said on Sunday that he had decided to resign. The 68-year-old Ishiba instructed his Liberal Democratic Party, which has governed Japan for almost all of the post-war era, to hold an emergency leadership race. He told a news conference, adding he would continue his duties until his successor was elected. The announcement comes after the LDP-led coalition lost its majority in elections for both houses of parliament since coming to power last year, amid voter anger over rising living costs.
I have decided to resign as the Liberal Democratic Party president.
All right, then this is the big news that we are getting for you, that Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has resigned, and political uncertainty has certainly gripped the country. Now the race for next Prime Minister is open, and we'll have to wait and see what will happen in that. But the big news here is that Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has decided to step down. In fact, he has resigned from the post of Prime Minister of the country. And DD India correspondent Paulomi Burman has sent us this report from Tokyo. Let's have a look.
In a big announcement today, the Prime Minister of Japan, Shigeru Ishiba, has announced his resignation from the post of the Prime Minister of the country, which also means he's no longer going to be the leader of the ruling party of Japan, that is LDP. During his resignation speech, Shigeru Ishiba mentioned the US tariff as the reason for his resignation. He also mentioned about PM Modi while talking about his achievements in the during his tenure, which is since September last year. He has been in office for a year now, and said that he had successful summit with PM Modi of India. And going back to the point, what's next for Japan? So the ruling party of Japan, that is LDP, is going to get into a full-scale preparation for a presidential election within its own party. Once the successor for the leadership of LDP has been decided, there's going to be a prime ministerial election in the upper house, that is the House of Representatives in Japan. Now, as we all have seen that in July during the upper house elections, the LDP did not get a majority. The prime ministerial elections in the upper house is going to get difficult because the LDP do not have a majority in the upper house this time. So it's all we will have to wait and watch what happens next, who's going to become the next Prime Minister of Japan. The country definitely wants someone, considering the economic condition and the rising prices, the country definitely wants someone who can form better fiscal policies and monetary policies in the country.
Anutin Charnvirakul, leader of the conservative Boom Jai Thai party, was formally endorsed as Thailand's 32nd Prime Minister by King Maha Vajiralongkorn on Sunday, 2 days after securing a resounding 311 to 152 parliamentary victory over Pheu Thai's Chai Kasim Nitisiri. The new Prime Minister knelt in homage at his party's headquarters before paying respects to family. He also urged national unity to enforce the law strictly and advance economic recovery amid a weak tourism sector and border tensions with Cambodia.
I,
as Prime Minister, and all the members of my cabinet will work tirelessly and devote every part of our physical and mental energy to get our country, Thailand, out of its various crises as quickly as possible. My government will urgently work to resolve the border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia through peaceful means to reduce losses of the people of both countries. However, Thailand must adhere to its principles. We will never lose a single square centimeter of our territory. Anutin's assent following Petongtang Chinawat's August 29 court dismissal for ethics violations in a leaked Cambodia call hinged on a pact with the Progressive People's Party for a constitutional referendum and dissolution within 4 months, potentially triggering April-May 2026 elections. In a latest update in Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia fired its biggest ever aerial barrage at Ukraine early Sunday, setting the seat of the Ukrainian government in Kyiv ablaze. Russia has shown no signs of halting its 3.5-year attack of Ukraine, pushing hardline demands for ending the conflict despite efforts by the United States to broker a peace deal. The barrage came after several European countries, led by France and Britain, pledged on Thursday to deploy reassurance forces to Ukraine to patrol a peace deal between the warring sides, a demand Moscow has deemed unacceptable. Meanwhile, Ukraine attacked the Druzhba oil pipeline in Russia's Bryansk region, inflicting comprehensive fire damage, the commander of its drone forces, Robert Brovdi, said on messaging app Telegram on Sunday. There was no immediate comment from Russia. The transit pipeline delivers Russian oil to Hungary and Slovakia, which continue to buy energy supplies from Russia even after other European Union nations cut ties following its attack of Ukraine in 2022. Kyiv says its strikes on Russian energy targets in response to Moscow's continued attacks on Ukraine aim to undermine adversaries' overall war effort. While Ukrainian officials said on Sunday Russian drone attack on Ukraine's capital Kyiv injured at least 8 people and sparked fires at several high-rise apartment buildings in the city's west and east. According to authorities, drone debris also caused fires atop a 16-story and 2 9-story buildings in the Sviatoshinsky district in Kyiv's west. Updates from West Asia now. Israel on Sunday called on Hamas to surrender, with Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar saying that Gaza war could end if Hamas released all hostages and laid down its weapons. Saar made these remarks during a press conference with his Danish counterpart in Jerusalem on Sunday. Earlier, Hamas said it would free all hostages if Israel agreed to an end to the war and withdraw its forces from Gaza City. Meanwhile, thousands of Israelis rallied in Tel Aviv on Saturday night, issuing direct appeals to US President Donald Trump to force an end to the Gaza conflict and secure the release of the hostages. Protesters packed a public square outside the military headquarters, waving Israeli flags and holding placards with images of the hostages. There is growing despair among many Israelis as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the military to capture a major urban center where hostages may be held. Families of the hostages and their supporters fear the assault on Gaza City could endanger their loved ones. There are 48 hostages held in Gaza. Israeli officials believe that around 20 are still alive. In Washington, D.C., thousands of protesters marched to protest President Donald Trump's policies, particularly the deployment of National Guard troops in the capital. Protesters chanted slogans denouncing Trump and carrying signs that read, "Trump must go now, free DC and resist tyranny." It is unclear when their mission will end, though the army this week extended orders for the DC National Guard through November 30.
Protest the occupation of DC. We need to free DC. DC needs to be a state, needs to be the 51st state here in the Union. Today is free DC. Today is we're opposing the authoritarian regime and we need to get the federal police and the National Guard off our streets.
Last month, Trump deployed the National Guard to re-establish law, order and public safety, claiming crime was ruining the city. However, Justice Department data showed that violent crime in Washington, D.C. hit a 30-year low in 2024. And another update, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to wage war against Chicago as his administration's large-scale immigration raids loomed over the city. Trump hinted at immigration raids in Chicago in a Truth Social post that echoed the movie Apocalypse Now. His post said Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. The post comes one day after he changed the name of Department of Defense to Department of War. Earlier, Trump said he would also deploy National Guard troops to fight crime in Chicago. Meanwhile, in Chicago, demonstrators gathered to voice anger at possible deployment of troops in the city. Community members are rallying against the potential deployment of National Guard troops and immigration and customs enforcement raids, voicing their concerns about safety and human rights. Democratic Governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, on Tuesday stated that the raids would take place during the Mexican Independence Day celebrations this weekend and the following weekend. Due to concerns about immigration raids, a few Mexican events in the Chicago region were cancelled or postponed. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has not responded to requests for comment on whether it sent more agents to Chicago. Tensions are on the boil in Venezuela. In Caracas, residents voiced deep unease on Saturday over the prospect of U.S. military action, with fears of conflict growing amid Washington's fresh build-up in the Caribbean. The anxiety follows President Nicolas Maduro's accusation that the United States is plotting regime change, a charge President Trump downplayed on Friday. The unease has only sharpened after a U.S. strike earlier this week sank a Venezuelan boat allegedly carrying narcotics, killing 11 people. The White House is now weighing options for further strikes, including possible targets inside Venezuela. Brazil is celebrating its Independence Day today. In a televised address to the nation on the eve of Independence Day, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva defended the nation's sovereignty while denouncing politicians he described as traitors. His comments follow efforts by allies of former President Jair Bolsonaro to push for harsher foreign sanctions on Brazil and advocate for a controversial bill in Congress that would grant amnesty to individuals convicted for the January 8, 2023 attacks on government institutions.
We are not and will never again be anyone's colony. We are capable of governing and caring for our land and our people without interference from any foreign government. We maintain friendly relations with all countries, but we do not accept orders from anyone. We will resist any attempt to undermine democracy. The role of some Brazilian politicians who encourage attacks on Brazil is unacceptable. They were elected to serve the Brazilian people, but they only defend their own interests. They are traitors to the nation. History will not forgive them.
And still to come on DD India Newshour. French Parliament is set for a crucial confidence vote on September 8. Why there are anti-government protests happening in Thessaloniki? Stay with us to know more about it.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. South Korea has wrapped up talks with the United States for the release of detained Korean workers in Georgia. Presidential Chief of Staff said that a plane will be on its way to bring back the Koreans once administrative procedures are completed. This week, U.S. federal agents carried out a raid at a Hyundai motor manufacturing facility in Georgia. This raid was the largest single-site enforcement operation in the history of the Department of Homeland Security. In this operation, over 300 South Koreans were among the 475 people arrested. President Chief of Staff added that the government will seek ways to improve the visa system to prevent a similar incident.
As a result of swift and united efforts by government ministries, business groups and companies, talks with the United States for the release of the detained workers have been concluded. But what remains now are only administrative procedures, and once those are completed, a chartered plane will depart to bring our people home. To prevent a similar incident in the future, we will work with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy and related companies to review and improve the residency status and visa system for travelers on US-related projects.
Norwegians are set to vote on Sunday and Monday in a nail-biter parliamentary election, pitting Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støtte's Labour's-led left bloc against a surging right-wing alliance of the Anti-Immigration Progress Party and Conservatives. Latest polls show Labour at 27% support, poised for 50 seats, while FRP polls at 21% for 40 seats, up 19 from 2021. The left bloc edges ahead at 51% of votes or 88 seats versus the right's 81, but smaller parties like surging Greens with 10 seats could tip the balance on climate and Gaza divestment from $2 trillion wealth fund. Economy, taxes and energy exports dominate the polls with record 47.2% early voting turnout, signalling high stakes for Europe's gas supplier. The results are expected Monday night. The French Parliament is set for a crucial confidence vote on September 8 following strong criticism of Prime Minister François Bayrou's strict budget cuts and spending plans. The result will decide whether his government survives or falls, with the outcome likely to affect jobs, public services and daily life across the country. Our correspondent Rohini Gusabi reports.
France is heading into an important political moment, and it will affect not only leaders but common people as well. French Prime Minister has put forward a new budget with 44 billion euros cuts in spending. The government saying these cuts are needed because France's debt is too high and must be reduced. But for people, these cuts could make daily life more difficult. If the budget goes ahead, hospitals and schools may get less money, which could affect services. Some transport and building projects might be delayed. Families may receive less support with housing and social benefits. And workers fear there will be less help if they lost their jobs.
I think that's quite a mixed feeling because, we had the same kind of issues last year. So we are quite used to this kind of problems that doesn't get any solutions. But at the same time, it's kind of worrying because we don't know what's going to happen next week. And we feel like, history is repeating and we are not going to find solutions for this issue. So
the current budget in France is very uncertain. We don't know how it will get accepted because the current budget shows a lot of spending coming out from the public pocket. So it will be very, very costly to live in France.
This budget has created anger in the parliament and on the streets. Opposition parties are saying this budget is unfair, and even some members of the ruling side are also not happy with this. All of this has led to confidence vote, which will take place on 8th of September. If the Prime Minister wins the vote, he stays in power and budget will move forward. People will then start feeling the effects of these cuts in their everyday lives. And if he loses the votes, his government will have to resign, and that will create political uncertainty. President Emmanuel Macron would then need to decide whether to bring a new prime minister, call a new elections, or try to form a new group of support in parliament.
So it will open a new era of uncertainty. So that's a mess, and sometimes it's once again time lost for true discussion and true action. So once again, it's frustrating, I guess, for French people. And yeah,
both options have problems. If the budget is approved, then daily life may become tougher because of reduced support. If the government falls, France could face weeks or months of confusion without clear leadership. Decision on September 8 will not only decide the Prime Minister's future, but also shape how people across France will live in the months ahead. Next few days are very important for France. Budget decisions could change life of many people. So everyone is watching closely and hoping the choices that makes life easier and secure. This is Rohini Goswami in Paris for DD India.
Thousands of protesters marched through the streets of Thessaloniki on Saturday as Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis delivered his annual economic policy speech at the International Trade Fair. Demonstrators, backed by trade unions, accused the government of promoting tax breaks for employers while eroding workers' rights and public services. PM Mitsotakis announced a €1.6 billion tax reform package, including income tax breaks for families with children and scrapping a property tax in remote areas to encourage youth relocation.
This government, through its criminal policy, its neoliberal measures, its privatization and its involvement in war, must be overthrown. We cannot wait any longer for a government that has crushed workers and ordinary people incomes, destroyed education and healthcare, is expelling students and wants to privatize everything public and vital and dragging us deeper into war.
Clashes broke out in Athens between protesters and riot police on Saturday as thousands protested outside Greek Parliament, marking 1 week since a court closed the investigation into 2023 Tempe train crash that killed 57 people. Demonstrators accused authorities of a cover-up and demanded justice. A recent investigation into the Lisbon funicular crash, in fact, that claimed 16 lives, revealed a snapped cable linking two cabins was the primary cause of the accident. The cable failed despite passing a visual inspection just hours before the crash. According to the GPI AAF report, the scheduled maintenance plan was up to date and a visual inspection conducted on the morning of the accident detected no anomalies in the vehicle's cable or braking systems. However, the section of the cable where it separated wasn't visible for inspection without dismantling. Investigators had already announced that 11 foreign nationals were among 16 people killed in Wednesday's crash. Two separate investigations are underway, one by the Accident Investigators Office and another by Prosecutor's Office, who will present a preliminary report within 45 days. Air Canada flight attendants overwhelmingly rejected a wage agreement on Saturday. About 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants have voted down the employer's wage offer that the union and airline agreed to last month. Flight attendants at Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge voted 99.1% against ratifying the company's wage offer. The wage portion will now be referred to mediation, and if no agreement is reached at that stage, to arbitration as previously agreed to by both sides. However, the flight operations will continue as agreed by the Air Canada and the Canadian Union of Public Employees last month. Negotiators struck a tentative deal on August 19 to end a 4-day strike that stranded 500,000 passengers after flight attendants defied Canadian government efforts to end the strike, and the country's largest carrier was forced back to the bargaining table. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A 7-day-long mega street festival, Indra Jatra, began in Kathmandu Valley on Sunday. During the festival, God Indra and Goddess Kumari are worshipped. Public holiday is observed across Kathmandu Valley on the first day of Ashwin month of Bikram Samvat to celebrate the festival. In Australia, New South Wales has banned logging across a vast woodland area to establish a Great Koala National Park. The sanctuary will protect over 12,000 koalas, 36,000 greater gliders and more than 100 other threatened species, safeguarding them from extinction. The park marks a significant step in preserving Australia's unique wildlife. And a Croatian village set a new Guinness World Record with 3,136-meter line of 8,940 strudels made using 2 tons of flour and 3 tons of apples. The pastries were baked during the traditional Strudel Fest. The strudels will be donated to people in need, celebrating local culture and community. A stunning total lunar eclipse dubbed the Blood Moon unfolds tonight across Asia, Australia, Africa and Europe, turning the full corn moon a vivid crimson as it slips into Earth's shadow. Visible to about 6.2 billion people, 77% of the world's population, the event will peak at 18:11 UTC on September 7 with 82 minutes of totality from 17:30 to 18:53 UTC. In India, the penumbral phase will begin at 8:28 PM IST, partial at 9:27 PM and totality at 10:30 PM, ending around midnight. Save for naked eye viewing, the eclipse highlights atmospheric scattering of sunlight casting reddish hues. The sun's fiery flares disrupt Earth, causing blackouts, app outages and much more. With India's Antra Sena, let's explore Surya, NASA and IBM's AI-powered digital sun twin, predicting solar storms to protect our planet's power and tech in this edition of Storyful.
Flights, farming, internet and rescue operations. Surya turns uncertainty into foresight. India is also watching the sun. The Aditya L1 spacecraft, launched in 2023, is stationed at Lagrange Point 1, studying solar winds and capturing the first detailed images of flare kernels. China too is advancing with its solar activity artificial intelligence forecaster and Fengyu model to trace the entire chain of space weather. From Surya to Aditya L1, humanity is building a shield against the storms of our star, the sun. The sun gives us life, but it also threatens our world. With its digital twin watching over us, do you think humanity is ready for the next solar storm?
And still to come on the India Newshour. Red alert for Rajasthan and Gujarat's situation in Punjab remains dire. The 82nd edition of Italy's renowned Venice Film Festival concludes. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj and a quick recap of headlines. Political uncertainty grips Japan as Prime Minister Ishiba steps down. Months after ruling LDP coalition lost upper house majority in July polls. Thailand's newly elected Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul takes office after receiving royal endorsement. Ukraine conflict intensifies after Moscow's largest overnight air attack hits Kyiv's government building. Attack leaves 3 dead and several injured. Sabalenka trumps Amanda Anisimova to defend US Open crown. All eyes now on the big Alcaraz versus Sinner men's final at the Flushing Meadows. The India Meteorological Department has issued red alert in West Rajasthan for extremely heavy rainfall on Sunday. IMD has also put Saurashtra and Kutch region and western state of Gujarat under red alert for heavy rainfall, thunderstorm and lightning. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is also likely to be over East Rajasthan, Konkan and Goa and central Madhya Pradesh. IMD has also predicted heavy rainfall at isolated places over northeastern regions of India, eastern state of Odisha, sub-Himalayan West Bengal, southern states of Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and northern state of Uttarakhand. The situation in Punjab remains critical as the rain continues today in several parts including Firozpur and Fazilka. The state government is continuously working to provide relief and support to those affected. In Sultanpur Lodi's Khijarpur village, the embankment built on Bias River has weakened. Efforts are underway to strengthen it. The water level in Pong Dam has also reached 1,393 feet, which is 13 feet above the danger mark. Private schools in Punjab to reopen from tomorrow, while all government schools will reopen from September 9. So far, 46 people have lost their lives in the state and 3 are missing. The Indian Met Department has issued alerts for further rainfall, which may exacerbate the situation. In a groundbreaking operation, the Indian Army's Battle Axe Division executed a swift drone-assisted rescue on Sunday, saving a 30-year-old man trapped midstream in the swollen Ayad River amid heavy monsoon rains. The man, identified as local labourer Rajesh Kumar, slipped into the fast-flowing waters near Badi Hawala while crossing a makeshift bridge, standing him on a rocky outcrop for over 2 hours, deploying a compact quadcopter UAV equipped with a thermal camera and lifeline payload. Army engineers from 13 Rajputana Rifles unit located him precisely despite poor visibility. With Rajasthan's monsoon claiming 45 lives statewide this season, the Army has ramped up patrols along vulnerable rivers. The Indian Air Force has also carried out a major humanitarian operation in landslide-affected regions of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. In Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian Air Force carried out a daring mission, airdropping 5.9 tons of life-saving food supplies in the landslide-affected region of Udhampur. In Himachal Pradesh, swift and heroic operations saw 540 lives rescued and evacuated to safe areas in a remarkable 17-hour operation. 4 helicopters and 35 crew worked day and night to make these missions a success. The relief operations will continue until connectivity is restored and stranded residents are safely rehabilitated. Let's take a look at other stories making news. India's R&D organization DRDO hosted a conclave to foster collaboration between micro, small and medium enterprises, startups and the defense sector. The event, that was organized by DRDO's Defense Technology and Test Center in Lucknow, aimed to boost the Uttar Pradesh Defense Industrial Corridor by exploring opportunities in defense research and development and production. In West Bengal, the School Service Commission exam for the recruitment of Class 9 and 10 teachers was conducted on Sunday after nearly 9 years. The SSC exam was last conducted on November 2016. Following the Ganesh immersion in Mumbai, a coastal cleanliness drive was organized at Juhu Chowpatty on Sunday. The drive was conducted under the leadership of Amrita Fadnavis, wife of Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. The disposal of ritual waste collected after Ganeshotsav has been a major challenge, as improper handling can lead to water pollution and harm marine life. India and Germany deepened their partnership in science and innovation with an engaging session in Berlin. Sonika Rana files this report.
Indian Embassy in Berlin, students, experts and researchers from India and Germany have gathered for an engaging session on the scope and opportunities in chemical and material sciences. The event was inaugurated by the Ambassador of India to Germany, Ajit V. Gupte. It was attended by around 150 participants online and 70 in person. Among the participants were representatives from 20 reputed institutions from Germany, along with key stakeholders from various industries.
We hosted this program because of three objectives. One is that what is the ascent ecosystem between these two countries in respect of chemical sciences and material sciences. And number two, how we can make Indo-German cooperation between these two countries in respect of, again, material sciences and chemical sciences. And this cooperation, how we can get leverage of development of new product, new technology, new processes, which will be an outcome of both countries for the benefit of both countries, and which will facilitate the talent of both countries in a better way for future.
This year also marks a significant milestone in Indo-German trade relations, as both nations celebrate 25 years of robust trading ties, further cementing their economic and scientific bond.
This session was very valuable and very insightful for me. We touched a lot of topics coming from material science or chemistry science, especially with the light on having, say, potential overlaps seeing here in Germany and in India, and identifying potential areas where we can collaborate better. That was very insightful for me.
The event today was just not about knowledge sharing, but also about building stronger academic and industrial collaboration between the two countries. This is Sonika Rana in Berlin for DD India.
India's Information and Broadcasting Ministry organized Bharat Parv, a cultural evening dedicated to celebrating Indian culture, cinema and cuisine in Toronto on the sidelines of TIFF 50. Create in India Challenge performers from India came together under Unbeatable's band and dazzled the audience with their performances on Bollywood songs as well as folk songs from India.
अजीब दास्तां है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें हैं कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम. साडी गली आजा सानू चौड़ बाड़ी है, साडी गली आजा सानू चौड़ बाड़ी है.
DD India's Munmun Bhattacharya spoke with Indian actor Kabir Bedi in Toronto on Bharat Parv, India's representation at the 50th edition of Toronto International Film Festival and the Create in India Challenge, under which performers from India are being given international exposure. Take a listen.
Legendary Indian actor and author Kabir Bedi is here with us in Toronto. Kabir ji, welcome to DD India. You've attended the Bharat Parv. How does it feel? What does it mean for cultural ties between India and Canada?
Means great things, good things. I think Waves is doing wonderful things. I think the ministry is doing wonderful things. And Indian filmmakers are doing wonderful things. Today we screened the first 2 episodes of Gandhi that was made by Applause. And it was received a standing ovation at the festival. And I think what the ministry and Waves is doing is really very important. And I salute the fact that they are here in their presence and spreading the message of India.
And we are seeing budding Indian talent, winners of Creative Minds of Tomorrow. They've come here, Create in India Challenge winners. How does it feel to have such budding talent perform here and show their mettle to the world?
Well, you know, the future belongs to the young. So the young people performing on stages like this spreads the message of India better than anything else to the young. And we are there to promote the glory of India, the message of India, the presence of India everywhere in the world. And this is certainly a big part of it. Toronto is one of the most important film festivals in the world. And so to be here among all this wonderful Indian talent showing their films, showing their presence internationally is something very important for me.
50 years of Sholay, 50 years of TIFF, how does it feel?
I was there at the original screening of Sholay at the Minerva Cinema when it first came out. I was also there when Ramesh celebrated the 50th anniversary of Sholay, which we celebrated at the Tata Theatre in Bombay. Ramesh is a dear friend. Sholay is full of memories for me from the time that I saw it. It is one of those iconic films that have stood the test of time and have become symbols of Bollywood in the best way possible. So I feel very privileged to be part of that journey too.
So that was an exclusive conversation with Kabir Bedi ji in Toronto with cameraman YK Loknath. This is Munmun Bhattacharya from Toronto for DD India.
India's Information and Broadcasting Ministry organized the inaugural session of Waves World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit on Saturday in Toronto. The event took place on the sidelines of the 50th Toronto International Film Festival. Creative minds, industry leaders and policymakers came together to foster collaborations, co-productions and partnerships between India and the world. Here are some excerpts from what the delegates said at the event. Listen in.
I've been fortunate to have participated many times in different events in India, from Vicky Frames to NFDC sponsored events, and I'm well aware of the extraordinary talent in India. And my hope is that over the next few years there's going to be a bridge built, a really strong one, and that we're going to see collaborations, co-productions, people going back and forth.
It's truly a privilege to be here today on the 50th Toronto International Film Festival, celebrating the inaugural for Waves Bazaar. My heartfelt thanks to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, FICCI, NFDC and TIFF for creating this important platform that brings India and the world together in the spirit of creativity and collaboration.
The Waves Summit, which happened in May. And to tell the fact that it was the first time such an event or a summit with more than 77 countries participation happened in this sector, media and entertainment sector. We usually have so many economic forums are there and industry forums are there, or security, other issues. But for media and entertainment, this was the first time which happened, and in our country and in India, and as per vision of our Honorable PM Saab. And he was very, very clear and very positive that our media and entertainment industry should reach the entire world.
The 82nd edition of Italy's renowned Venice Film Festival concluded on Saturday, celebrating cinema's finest, from groundbreaking new films to timeless classics. This year's festival honored visionary filmmakers and emerging talent alike, with awards recognizing stories that reflect the world we live in. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us the highlights from the festival in this report.
American filmmaker Jim Jarmusch won the Golden Lion at the 82nd Venice Film Festival for Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, a comedy drama. Short Summer, a Russian-language film by German director Nastya Korkia, received the Luigi de Laurentiis Award for Best Debut Feature. The winners were selected by a jury led by American filmmaker Alexander Payne, which included Fernando Torres, Stephen Brizet, Mauro Del Toro and Mohammad Rasulov.
Whether we are practicing art or looking at art, in any given time, the winds of culture are blowing through us. And so I can't say that how conscious we will be, but certainly on many unconscious levels, those things affect us. Can a film really change society or a culture? I don't know. Doubtful. But at least, though, when we make films which are relevant to the times, we leave a document that someone was thinking about that.
Gianfranco Rossi received the Special Jury Prize for the Italian documentary Below the Clouds. The main competition, also known as Venezia 82, featured 21 films including Noah Baumbach, J. Kelly and Catherine Bigelow, A House of Dynamite. Tunisian filmmaker Kauthar Ben Hania won the Grand Jury Prize for the voice of Hind Rajab, a docudrama. Benny Safdie received the Silver Lion for The Smashing Machine, a biopic of Mark Kerr starring Dwayne Johnson. Valerie Donzelli won Best Screenplay for the French film At Work. Swiss actress Luna Wedler won the Marcello Mastroianni Award for the Best Performance by an Emerging Actor or Actress for Silent Friend. Restored classics like Do Bhiga Zameen, 310 to Yuma and Lolita, among others, were screened as part of Venice Classics, with Iran's Bashu, The Little Stranger, winning Best Restored Film. German filmmaker Werner Herzog and American actress Kim Novak were awarded the Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement, with Herzog honored on opening night by Francis Ford Coppola. Despite ongoing political debates around Ukraine and Gaza, the festival closed with its signature elegance and unwavering commitment to cinematic excellence. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And still to come on DD India Newshour. India Hockey World Cup spot and 4th Asia Cup title in Rajgir later today. Sabalenka beats Anisimova to win 2nd straight US Open title. You're watching DD India News. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. It was goals galore in India's final Super 4 clash against China as the Indian men's hockey team stormed into the Asia Cup final with a commanding 7-0 win. India stamped its authority early, racing to a 3-0 lead in the first half. The dominance continued in the third quarter with Raj Kumar Pal and Sukhjit Singh added their names to the score sheet. In the final quarter, Abhishek struck twice, sealing a thumping 7-0 victory. India will take on South Korea in the summit clash after the latter beat Malaysia in the other Super 4s. South Korea is the only team which held India to a draw in the tournament. Both teams squared off in their first Super 4s match, which ended in a 2-2 stalemate. All right, and DD India's Gaurav Kumar is joining us live from Rajgir. Hi, Gaurav. A very good evening. How are you?
Fine, Siddharth, and very much fine because India is in the final.
Indeed.
And it's a big day, you can say that, for the Indian hockey team and for their fans.
Definitely. Gaurav, I want to ask you, it's India versus South Korea, the summit clash. How prepared are the men in blue for this summit clash?
If we talk about this Indian team, there's a problem with this team that about the consistency, because what we have seen that this team has traveled earlier the European tour, and they have also played in the Australia where the 4 test match series was there, and only 3 match they have won. So there's a consistency problem in their game. But if coming back and if we look out about this tournament, they have a good fight against China in the group stage. They beat China by 4-3, then they beat Japan by 3-2. After that, they've beaten Kazakhstan by 15-0, a big margin. But you know that Kazakhstan is also a very low ranked team, and they are at this position now. They are ranked 88. afterwards, the Super 4 match that what India played against the Korea, that was drawn by 2-2, and after that India beat Malaysia by 4-1. And yesterday, the game they have done, that was superb, because that shows that they have worked out in each and every sector.
So do they look all charged, Gaurav?
If we talk about the Indian team defense,
Gaurav, do they look charged?
I see that it will be a tough task for the Indian team, because Korean side has a good record when they came to the final. And what we have seen in the yesterday games also, that they have defeated Malaysia by coming behind.
Definitely, Gaurav. I agree with you, Gaurav, that it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's India versus South Korea summit clash. Not going to be easy for Team India. But yes, they have the home crowd support. And let's hope for the best. Let's hope that Team India comes out with flying colours. We leave it there. Thank you so much, Gaurav. World number 1, Aryna Sabalenka defeated American 8th seed Amanda Anisimova in straight sets to win the US Open title for the second time in a row. The battle between the two boiled down to unforced errors, as Sabalenka kept them to 15 compared to 29 from her opponent. Sabalenka conceded just 4 unforced errors in the first set and converted all 3 breakpoints to silence the home crowd. World number 1 Jannik Sinner has set a blockbuster winner-takes-all US Open final with Carlos Alcaraz. Sinner defeated Felix in a 4-set battle on Friday night at Flushing Meadows, where he captured his 300th career match win. Sinner has reached the finals of all 4 Grand Slams in the same year. Jannik Sinner set up the grand final against Carlos Alcaraz. 5-time Grand Slam champion Carlos Alcaraz took down 24 times major winner Novak Djokovic in semis. Alcaraz advanced to his 3rd consecutive Grand Slam final. He has won 45 of his last 47 matches and made the final at 8 straight tournaments. All right, and DD India's Narayan Singh joins us live from Newsroom. Hi, Narayan. A very good evening to you. It's Carlos Alcaraz versus Jannik Sinner. The clash which was really much on the cards. And keeping the fact that how Carlos Alcaraz is in a great form, defeating Novak Djokovic. Narayan, how do you assess this particular encounter? We know that it's going to be one of an encounter, and everyone will be glued to their television screens. Those who will be there, who will be, they will be, have their eyes on both of these players. But in your assessment, Narayan, which side are you on, first of all, and how do you assess this clash?
So that is going to be a classic on the cards. If you talk about this final match between the two titans of the current tennis generation. If you talk about the journey of both these players, the last 7 Grand Slam these two guys have shared between them, and multiple records will also tumble tonight when they will face each other in this epic match. If you take a look, 3 years back they were up against each other in the quarterfinals of the US Open, when it was a 5-set classic between these two players, and it was the quarterfinal, and after that Alcaraz eventually won that US Open, and after that we know the story, what really happened in the world of tennis, and we know that the big three are not there. Only Novak Djokovic is the last installment of that big three. Alcaraz defeated him in the semi-finals, and the big two of the world tennis is right now there, and we know that what kind of tennis they are playing. If you take a look at the other stats, this year this will be their 3rd Grand Slam final, and first time in the Open era this is happening, that the two players are playing the 3 Grand Slam final in the same season, and it's going to be a big match, because we know that it's not only about the rivalry, it's also about the top ranking and the domination in the world of tennis. One is number 1 and another is number 2. So most importantly, I think what matters here, the who will hold the nerves better. We know that in this tournament, the kind of tennis Alcaraz has played, he is untouched throughout the tournament. He hasn't dropped a single set throughout the tournament. He's the first man after Roger Federer to achieve this feat. And if we talk about Sinha, a fantastic player, but he has dropped 2 sets in the tournament, and he also took a medical timeout in the semi-final match against his opponent. So on hard court, we know that Sinha is a fantastic player. He's one of the best in the world right now.
Right.
But on current form, I think Alcaraz is the best.
All right. Alcaraz is the best. That's what our correspondent Narayan Singh is saying. We leave it there. We have to wait and see, Narayan, who will come out with flying colours from here. Thank you so much. We leave it there. Again, Narayan. And in the men's doubles final at the US Open, Marcel Granollers and Horacio Zeballos secured a dramatic 3-set win over British pair Zoe Salisbury and Neil Skupski to seal their second Grand Slam title this year. After losing the first set 3-6, Granollers and Zeballos fought hard to seal the second set in tie-breaks. The duo had to dig deep again to win a tightly contested third set 7-5. The 5th-seeded Spanish-Argentine duo reaffirmed their dominance over the 6 seeds by beating them for the third time. Salisbury and Skupski were bidding to become the first all-British team to lift the US Open men's doubles trophy since 1903. In a historic first, 10 women officers from the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force are set to sail into history on September 11th. They will embark on a tri-service circumnavigation mission aboard the Indian Army sailing vessel Triveni. The 26,000 nautical mile voyage will see the all-women crew cross the equator twice, round the 3 Great Capes and brave some of the world's toughest waters. More than a sailing mission, it's a powerful statement of Nari Shakti in uniform, tri-service unity and India's growing maritime confidence. Nari Shakti indeed. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.